Hello, everybody. Hope you are enjoying life because let me tell you something. It is a beautiful life. Hope you are having a great day with your family and friends and you are taking advantage of every single moment in your life because everything in your life is precious. So let's continue. This is Always at the Top podcast, and I am your host and friend, TK. Thank you for being part of episode 21 and part of this amazing journey and place, a free zone where we can learn, communicate, protect, present to you tools, protocols, mechanisms so you can incorporate them into your life so you can make awesome changes. Hopefully, you already have started the process of transforming your life with our great content that we already have been uh, building up for the last 8 months. If not, go back to our first episode and listen and take notes. Seriously, take notes because while taking notes, your brain will be reformed to this new way of life. While taking notes, you will understand how important it is to rise our life standards if we want to live a life on purpose and meaningful. If you don't, please continue to scroll, continue to do what's best for you. We are here to help people and we want to reach new horizons, new territories to the east, west, north, and south. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Always at the Top One, and follow us on Instagram on Always at the Top Podcast. It means a lot not only to me and my team, but it will mean a lot for the people we're trying to reach out. You never know how and when and where you will get to be a blessing for others. So maybe by you subscribing to our channel in USA, there will be a blessing for somebody else in South America or in Africa or in Asia and so on. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Always at the Top Podcast, to make a great leap of change for yourself and for others. Thank you so much for your kind support, kind love, and appreciation. Okay, now let's focus on the next topic that we are going to be talking in episode 21 here at Always at the Top podcast. Learn how to communicate. This is the third tip way on how to raise our life standards. So after life audit, being proactive and knowing what you truly want in life, having healthy boundaries, learning how to speak up for yourself, challenging societal norms, destructive societal norms, um, getting clear on your vision, setting goals regularly, prioritizing your to-do list, setting a timeline, knowing why sleep is crucial, acting for our own benefits. Now it's time to learn how to communicate. And one might say that I know how to communicate. Communication is so easy, right? Uh, because we communicate all days of our lives. But do we? Do we really? Do we really know how to truly communicate in life without raising our voice or misbehaving all the time? Think about it for a moment. How many true conversation have you done all your lives? Have you truly incorporated all the communication standards with yourself, others, family, friends? So for the sake of our values and integrity, we need to use less argument and more actions towards raising up our life standards and not being so disrespectful towards ourselves and someone else. So If this is not the case and you already know how to communicate effectively, well, a great applause to you, but please listen up or share it with a friend or family member that you know is truly need to learn this one, because it's a really important thing. That's why we emphasize that so much. So let's start from the basics. As always, what is communication in the first place? Communication is the process of transforming information from one person to another. It can be done through spoken words, written words, body language, or signals. Communication aims to ensure that the receiver understands the sender's message. When we communicate, we share information, and therefore communication is the giving, receiving, or exchanging of ideas, information, signals, or messages through appropriate media, enabling individuals or groups to persuade, to seek information, to give information, or to express emotions. Communication is the key element to have a successful relationship, both in personal and professional terms. Communication is essential because it allows us to share our thoughts and feelings. It helps us build relationships and understand each other better. There are different types of communication, verbal and non-verbal. Verbal communication happens through spoken words, while non-verbal takes place through body language and gestures. You can also communicate by writing or electronically, which is done through sending text messages, emails, and social media posts. According to G.G. Brown, communication is transfer of information from one person to another, whether or not in elective confidence, but the information transfer must be understandable to the receiver. Communication is the intercourse by words, letters, or messages. Fred G. Mayer. So let's define a bit more the means to give the precise and exact meaning of a word. The exact meaning of a word to communicate is to share or to participate. Dictionary says that communication is the transmission of a message or information by speaking or writing or gestures, or maybe a social intercourse. Communication is all of the above and so much more. This broad definition includes body language, skills of speaking. It outlines the objectives of communication. It emphasizes listening as one important aspect of communication. What about communicating effectively? What is that? What is communicating effectively? Effective communication is the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. It involves understanding emotions and intentions, listening and taking actions on what others say. You see the difference, or the addition that only to communicate is not enough. We need to make sure we are communicating effectively. Effective communication is the ability to have a conversation with another person in an engaging way that is focused, consistent, and offers value. Communicating effectively involves two or more people who can clearly express their intent and understand the focus or purpose of the conversation, while also allowing each person to get their effective. Effective communication is important for people to interact with others while expressing their needs and understanding the tasks and duties throughout the way. Communicating in per se is vital to have a better, greater, healthier life. Communicating effectively is a must to raise our life standards to the next level of life. Both of them are vital and crucial to have a beautiful and amazing life. Now let's focus on the why question. Why communication is important? Communication is essential because we share our thoughts and feelings with other people. In addition, we use communication to build relationships, solve problems, and make decisions. Human communication is essential in all aspects of life. It helps us build relationships, express our feelings, and share ideas. Without communication, it would be difficult for humans to interact with one another, and society would be less functional. Communication is a two-way street. It's not just about sending messages from one person to another. It's also about listening and understanding what the other person is saying. When both people are engaged in this process of communication, it leads to a better understanding and resolution of issues. No matter what type of communication we are using, it is essential to ensure that the message is clear so that there are no misunderstandings. In addition, when communicating with each other, it is so important to have good eye contact and body language so that the person on the receiving part or end understands what you are trying to say. The better we are at communicating, the better our relationships will be. Why is effective communication so important, especially in the workplace? Learning to effectively communicate can provide value in all aspects of life: workplace life, relationships, family life, etc. Effective communication is important because it offers the following benefits. It demonstrates understanding. Learning to communicate effectively can help you demonstrate or an understanding of what the other person is saying. Whether you are communicating with a coworker or manager, effective communication can help teams improve productivity and work towards a common goal. Second one, helps to prevent conflict. Effective communication have the skills necessary to prevent or resolve conflict. These can help teams overcome challenges or barriers to productivity and progress towards the completion of projects faster, while also improving employee morale. Third one, improves engagement. Creating teams of effective communicators can also increase employee engagements among team members. This is useful as a leader when encouraging team members to work together. The fourth one, solves problems. Effective communication skills, which we'll see them a bit later, can help team members identify solutions to common challenges. Good communicators or communication skills also make it easier for team members to articulate and clearly express their current concerns, leading to a more transparent and honest work environment. The fifth one, build trust. Effective communication skills, including empathy, compassion, and consistent nonverbal communication patterns, can help team members build trust among each other. It can also help leaders earn the respect and trust of their team members. So let me recap why these effective communications are so important. Because it demonstrates understanding, it helps to prevent conflict, it improves engagement among team members, solve problems, and build trust. But what is interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication is a process by which people exchange verbal and non-verbal messages to create and share meanings. It is how we build relationships, express our feelings, and exchange information. Many factors affect interpersonal communication, including the context, in which it takes place, the parties involved, their relationships to one another, their culture and personalities. Verbal messages can be spoken or written, while nonverbal messages include gestures, facial expression, posture, tone of voice, and touch. Interpersonal communication is a complex process that various barriers can hinder. It's essential to be aware of these barriers to work to overcome them and increase the effectiveness of your communication. The basic elements of the communication process. When two or more people want to communicate, they go through a process that involves sending and receiving messages. The basic elements of communication process are sender, receiver, message, medium, and feedback. Sender. The sender is the person who initiates the communication. They send a message to another person or a group of people using a medium such as speech, writing, or email. Senders can be individuals or groups, or they can communicate with people inside or outside their organization. The receiver is the person or group of people who receives a message and responds to it. Receivers can be individuals or groups inside or outside an organization. They may respond immediately or take some time to do so. The message is the actual content of the communication. It can be a request, question, an order, or any other type of information. Messages can be written or spoken, and they can be short or long. Medium. The medium is how a message is transmitted from the sender to the receiver. It can be a telephone call, a letter, an email, or any type of communication. The feedback. Feedback is a signal that tells the sender whether or not a message has been understood. It can be a verbal or non-verbal, spoken or written information. It may be given immediately or after some time has passed. After viewing what is interpersonal communication and the basic elements of communication process, let's take some time now to focus on the effective communication skills. Why are they important? And we will give some examples of effective communication skills, which may include active listening. It is important to focus carefully on what the other part communicated you, which may include verbal and non-verbal communication. If you are unsure, ask targeted questions to improve the strength of your exchange. The second one, emotional management. Emotional intelligence can help people further their skills, specifically when it comes to the ability to communicate effectively. Empathy, compassion, and the ability to be accepting of different cultures. Communication styles or ways of expressing emotion are also important parts of emotional management. Third one, observational skills. Being observant may help you gain all the necessary context to assemble an effective message. For example, you may notice the audience mood or energy level and customize your message to consider these elements. Fourth, confidence. Sharing messages confidently can help you ensure your message is clear and direct. It may help you to see your communications for terms that may make you appear less confident and obscure your meaning. Make sure to be authentic when showing confidence so colleagues know that they can trust you and not to misrepresent your expertise. Sharing feedback, the fifth one. The key to effective feedback is sharing specific examples of the issue and the consequences of the issue, and asking questions to formulate solutions to the issues. Strong communicators can accept constructive feedback and persuade constructive input to others. Feedback can answer questions, provide solutions, or help strengthen the project or topic at hand. Providing and accepting feedback is an essential workplace skill, as it can help both of you and the people around you make meaningful improvements to their work and their professional development. Nonverbal cues, the sixth one. Some amount of communication happens through nonverbal cues, such as body language, facial expression, and eye contact. When you are listening to some, you may choose to be attentive to what they are saying and their nonverbal language. It's essential to not judge others based on their body language, as not all people display the same physical gestures due to cultural or ability differences. The seventh one, responsiveness. Whether you are returning a phone call or sending a reply to an email, employers often view fast communicators as more effective than those who are slow to respond. One method is to consider how long your response takes. Is this a request or question? You can answer in the next 5 minutes. If so, it may be a good idea to address it as soon as possible as you see it. If it is more complex request or question, you can still acknowledge it, that you have received the message, and let the other person know you're going to respond in full later. The eighth one, respect. A key aspect to respect is knowing when to contribute in communication process and respond. Speak without interruption is seen as necessary communication skill tied to respectfulness. Use your time with grace wisely. Stay on topic, ask clear questions, and respond fully to any questions that they are asking you. Now, let's dive a bit on the 7 C's of effective communication. Effective communication includes 7 key elements, sometimes called the 7 C's of effective communication. But let's develop that. Effective communication is concise. The most understandable, articulate statements are often as brief as possible. Speaking concisely, verbally, and in writing can help you distill your message to the most important parts. It also makes your message easier for the reader or listener to interpret. When preparing a speech or presentation, can serving with others or writing an email, try to use specific conversing with others or writing an email, try to use specific language and limit unnecessary words or sentences. Clear. Be straightforward with your meaning by using direct language and including all necessary details for the reader to understand what you're saying. For example, when emailing your manager about discussing a raise, an unclear message might say, "I'm wondering about a potential change in the terms of my employment. Can we talk?" A clearer way to communicate right can be, "I'd like to schedule a one-on-one meeting to discuss my compensation. Please send me some available time this week to speak about it." It is also important that you gain clarity when confused about someone else's meaning in the conversation. When listening to someone, identify and summarize what the speaker says to demonstrate your understanding. If you are unsure, you can always ask questions or paraphrase to gain further clarity. Concrete, great communication is often actionable. Rather than strictly discussing tangible ideas in your writing, try to include tangible problems, solutions, and actions. Consider including descriptive language that the listener or reader can easily visualize. For example, if you're writing a social media caption advertising tags, preparation services, you might say tax season is approaching. If you'd rather work with an expert than a computer program, schedule a virtual visit with one of our accountants today. These communicate your message more concretely than a vague statement like uh, we want to settle out your voice about tax. The fourth one, correct. Check your communication thoroughly for any errors. This includes inaccuracies such as misreported facts and figures, grammatical errors, and misspellings. Ensuring your messages are correct can increase your credibility and professionalism. Consult trusted resources like authoritative non-government and industry organizations, subjects matter, expert, and encyclopedias. The fifth one, complete. Double check you've included all the important components of your message. Review your statements to ensure you cover all elements that may be critical to the overall understanding. Add any content that might help them and consider using visual aids to supplement your words. Most messages can also benefit from a call to action, which tells the audience what you want them to do in response to your statements. In marketing content, the call to action might suggest that readers learn more about the product or schedule a consultation. In workplace communications, you might ask a coworker to attend a meeting or send a follow-up message about the next steps on a project. The sixth one, coherent. Coherent statements are another key element of effective communication. This means that your messages makes logical sense, occurs in a reasonable order, and is simple for the reader or listener to follow. Consider asking a peer to read an email before you send it to share if they feel it's coherent. Considerate. It's always important to be polite in your business communications to show the other parties involved that you respect them and everything they bring to the conversation. Be considerate of other people's preferences and cultural backgrounds when speaking with them and try to limit assumptions about their level of comfort. With sensitive topics, it's also helpful to consider the context of your conversation. For example, a company holiday party might be a more appropriate occasion for a funny story about the company president than an important client meeting. Alright, so let's see once more the 7 C's of effective communication. It should be concise, should be clear, concrete, correct, complete, coherent, and considerative. How to improve your communication skills? Let's move forward. With experience and practice, you can learn and improve your communication skills. Start by identifying your strengths and then practice and develop those areas. Observe good communicators around you. Identify individuals, family, and friends who consistently communicate ideas and information clearly with respect, empathy, and confidence. Observe and take notes on the specific way they communicate with others. Ask a close friend or colleague for constructive feedback. To get an objective opinion, ask a trusted friend for their honest feedback. Understand your ideas, your areas of improvement, and then move forward. Practice improving communication habits. You can improve those skills by practicing new habits that makes you a better communicator. That might include being more responsive to communications, reminding yourself to give eye contact, practicing giving positive feedback, and asking questions in conversations. Attend communication skills workshop or classes, online or offline sessions, workshops, and classes that you can attend and can help you be a better communicator. These classes may include role playing, reading assignments, and open discussions. 5.1. The fifth one. Seek opportunities to communicate. Seek out opportunities both on and off the job that requires you to use communication skills. This way help you keep good skills fresh, but also allowing you to the opportunity to practice your skills. So how to be a better communicator? Well, observe good communicators around you. Ask a close friend or colleague for constructive feedback. Practice improving communication habits. Practice new habits. Attend communication skills workshops or classes, and seek opportunities to communicate out or in your job. Now let's see top 10 communication skills. Communication is an essential life skill that we use every day to interact with others. Good communication skills can make a huge difference in your personal and professional life. Here are the top 10 communication skills that will help you connect with others and achieve your goals. Active listening. Why is listening so important? Quite simple. It is the key to understanding. When we listen actively and attentively and without interruption, we understand the other person's point of view. And when we know where the other person is coming from, we're better able to respond effectively and build strong relationships. In addition to understanding others, effective listening allows us to be more introspective. We can better understand our thoughts and feelings by paying close attention to how others respond to us. This introspection can help us become more self-aware and improve our communication skills. Assertiveness. Being assertive is a top communication skill because it allows you to clearly and effectively communicate your points, needs, and opinions. This is important because it enables you to maintain better relationships, get what you want out of life, and stand up for your beliefs. Additionally, assertiveness helps to ensure that all voices are heard in any given situation, leading to more productive and respectful outcomes. Assertiveness can be especially useful in different conversations because it allows you to maintain control of the situation while still working towards a resolution. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand how another feels and put yourself in their shoes. When you empathize with someone, you can connect and relate to them by sharing or even understanding their feelings. There are many reasons why empathy is a communication skills, but here are just a few. Empathy helps you to understand the other person's perspective. When you can see things from the other person's perspective, it is easier to find common ground and resolve conflicts. Empathy helps you connect with the other person on a deeper level. When you feel empathy for someone, it creates an emotional connection to strengthen relationships. Empathy makes you more effective as a communicator. When you can put yourself in the other person's shoes, it allows you to communicate more effectively and persuasively. Diplomacy. Many people think of diplomacy as being all about negotiation and treaties, but it's much broader than what we think. For example, it encompasses communication within families, workplace, and other groups, and communication between different countries. The goal of diplomacy is always to resolve conflicts peacefully by finding common ground and understanding each other's position. It takes patience, listening skills, and empathy to succeed at diplomacy. Diplomacy is the ability to communicate tactfully and not offend or upset others while still getting your point across clearly. If you want to avoid conflict and build solid relationships, diplomacy is key. Body language. Body language communication skill is extremely important in all aspects of life. It can help you in your personal relationships with your co-workers and even when you are trying to close a business deal. There are a few key things to keep in mind when it comes to body language communication. First of all, be aware of your body language and make sure that you are sending the right signals to the people around you. Second, pay attention to the other person's body language and decipher what they are trying to say. Third, be sensitive to the situation and adjust your body language accordingly. Body language is a powerful form of communication that contributes and can build trust, increase intimacy, and convey messages without saying a word. 6. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to be aware of and understand your own emotions and the emotions of others. It is also about managing your emotions effectively and responding appropriately in various situations. One of the critical aspects of emotional intelligence is communication. Good communication requires taking into account how you are feeling and understanding how the other person is feeling. It also involves communicating in a way that considers the other person's feelings and preferences. So if you want to be a good communicator, it's crucial to develop your emotional intelligence skills. Tone of your voice and articulation. It's essential to be aware of the tone of your voice when you are communicating with others. Your tone affects the way the other person perceives what you are saying, but it can also influence their emotional state. For example, if you are speaking to someone condensing or impatient, they are likely to feel angry or frustrated. On the other hand, if you talk to someone in a warm, caring manner, they usually respond in a positive way. Being aware of your tone of voice and articulation can bring you up advantages while you are conversing with other people. Articulation is the clarity with which you speak. If your words are frustrated or mumbled, people will have difficulty understanding what you are saying. So good communication or articulation is key for clear communication. Clarity. Clarity communication skill is extremely important in business and life. When you can communicate clearly, you eliminate any potential misunderstandings and ensure that the message you're trying to send is received the way you intend. Clarity eliminates confusion, which in turn eliminates conflict. There are a few things you can do to improve your communication skills. Be clear about what you want to say before you start speaking. Make sure your points are easy to follow and avoid using jargon or technical language that might be unfamiliar to your listener. Pay attention to how you are phrasing your words. Avoid metaphors and ambiguity, and make sure your statements are unambiguous. Be patient and take the time to clarify any questions. Ninth one, Feedback. Feedback is the ability to give and receive feedback effectively. It's one of the most important skills you can have in your personal and professional life. It allows you to identify and address problems early on before they become more significant. Giving effective feedback requires empathy, understanding, and tact. Uh, You need to put yourself in the other person's shoes, see things from their perspective, and understand their feelings and emotions. And you also need to phrase your feedback respectfully and constructively. This takes practice. You need to listen carefully, ask clarifying questions, agree, and not react defensively. Giving and receiving feedback effectively can help resolve conflict, improve productivity, and create a more positive work environment. A few points a good feedback has. Stay focused on the issue at hand, not the person. Be clear, concise, and specific. Avoid using judgmental language or making accusations. Make sure you listen carefully to what the other person says in response. Take time to think about what you want to say before giving feedback. Finally, be respectful on the other person's feelings and views. The 10th one, asking questions. Asking questions is a communication skill that is often overlooked. When you ask a question, you are allowed to understand the other person's point of view. You can also clarify information and show that you are interested in what the other person has to say. Questions can be used to build rapport, a great um, relationship, let's say, to diffuse tension and to show respect. Questions can help you get more information and develop better relationships with others, but it is important to ask thoughtfully constructive questions to contribute to the conversation intended of just taking up and not just put questions to take that takes out space. How to improve your communication skills. Communication is essential in all aspects of life, yet it can be challenging to master. The good news is that communication skills can be improved with practice, and here are a few tips to help you become a better communicator. Listen actively. When someone is speaking to you, make an effort to pay attention and understand what they are saying. Do not interrupt them or provide commentary. Just listen. 2. Mirror the other person's body language. When you mirror the other person's body language, it conveys that they are engaged and interested in what they have to say. 3. Be aware of your tone of voice. Your tone of voice can convey just as much information as your words, so be conscious of how you sound when communicating with others. 4. Stay calm. It can be challenging to maintain a calm and physical uh, body and mind when things get heated. However, staying calm is essential for effective communication. 5th, pay attention to your body language. Suppose you want to send a message that you are interested in what the other person is saying. Lean forward and make eye contact. If you are going to show that you are bored or uninterested, slump back in your chair and avoid eye contact. So we're giving tips here, so make sure you have your notebook close to you. 6. Use positive words. When communicating with others, use positive words. They will help you build a good conversation. For example, rather than saying I don't know, try saying I have I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, positive words can also help diffuse a tense situation. Avoid using jargon. Jargon can be confusing and make it difficult for others to understand what you are saying. Instead, try to use clear and concise language when communicating with others, especially those unfamiliar with your industry or field. Be patient. When communicating with someone, give them time to process what you have just said and respond. Don't rush them or try to interrupt them. Let them speak freely. This also goes for emails. Take the time to write an email, a well-written email, rather than sending a quick response that may not be clear. 9. Use constructive feedback. When you receive positive or negative feedback, always try to use it constructively in your favor. Don't get defensive and don't take things personally. Instead, use the feedback to improve your communication skills. Practice. This is the main thing of communication. Practice, practice, practice. And the best way to improve your communication skill, guess what? Practice. The more you communicate, the better you will become. These are just few tips that you can use and incorporate to become better and better and a better communicator. So listen actively, mirror the other person's body language, be aware of your tone of voice, stay calm no matter how tense the situations get, pay attention to your body language, use positive words, avoid using jargon, be patient, use constructive feedback, and practice all the time. Final thoughts. Folks, we have covered a great amount of facts, information, tips, benefits, protocols on why communication and effective communication are of essential importance in our lives. Why? Let us recap the episode into some short sentences. But first, let me remind you once again about the importance of subscribing. It means that our service will go to other people who struggle and are in need for some guidance, some more important information that they need to become better. So by subscribing to our channel, you will put a great contribution to someone else's life. So please subscribe so we can reach out new people to the northeast and west and south. New people are questioning why it's happening to me, so let's help those people. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, always at the top one, and follow us on Instagram, always at the top podcast. Now let's recap the episode. We talked about the basics of the topics, as we always do. So what is communication? What is effective communication? How we are answering questions like why communication is really important. We dwelled a bit on what is interpersonal communication and the basic elements of the communication process. After that, gave some examples of effective communication skills. Moreover, we covered the 7 C's of effective communication and how to improve your communication skills. We dwelled on top 10 communication skills and how to improve them. Now relate all of these to your actual life and ask some questions. Do you deem yourself to be a good communicator? What are you doing to improve your skills? Do you want to practice? Do you want to become better? If the answer is yes, then these protocols, mechanisms, and tools are the answer. So grab a pen, grab a notebook, and start to write down everything that we have said, because this is the way to become better and better in our so we can raise our life standards. This is it for today's, folks. Thank you very much for listening to Always at the Top podcasts and the 21st episode of this podcast. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for becoming better. Thank you for understanding that becoming better needs actual actions. And thank you for being the best version that you know now that you can be. So I appreciate and see all of you right now. See you next time, folks. TK here. Happy days.